Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Octavia Prosper. In the headlines, Dominica celebrates as Alec Afanaz receives maiden call up to West Indies team. The U.S. collaborates with the region on CBI program. And government continues to prioritize health security. The details of the headline stories and more when we return. Welcome back. Prime Minister the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says he is delighted about ongoing discussions between the U.S. government and the islands which operate the CBI program in the region. The Honorable Prime Minister says the most recent engagement between the islands and the officials of the U.S. Treasury Department took place in St. Kitts on Saturday, 25th February 2023.
In attendance were Ms. Anna Morris, the Deputy Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Department of Treasury, and other officers of the Treasury and State Departments of the United States government. Also in attendance were the Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Mr. Timothy Antoine, and the Director General of the OECS, Dr. Didicus Jules. As I have previously indicated, we are grateful for and welcome the support of the U.S. government in our efforts to strengthen and protect our CBI programs. In my view, it was a fruitful and useful engagement, which puts us in a good place to continue to address the concerns surrounding the CBI with a view to strengthening and sustaining our respective programs.
The Prime Minister highlighted the importance of CBI funds in helping small developing states provide for their populations.
I've always been upfront on this. The CBI program is important to all our small economies and is widely used to fund key infrastructural projects and programs in education and housing and health, as well as the productive sectors, agriculture, tourism, small business development, manufacturing, and even now with the construction of the international airport. We will continue to do what needs to be done to maintain our program's integrity and to ensure its survival.
Prime Minister Skerrit believes through such engagement, the U.S. gets a better understanding of the importance of the CBI program to the development of countries like Dominica.
I really want to place on public record my personal appreciation to the U.S. government in its constructive engagement of us in the CBI program. Last year, I invited the U.S. Department of Treasury to come into Dominica and to do their own examination of our CBI program. Are we doing things right? Are we doing things wrong? Look for yourself, make some determination. And I believe that they came out with a very good appreciation of how the CBI program is operating and were full of good praise for the program. But there are some areas of the believe that we can strengthen, and this is where some of the recommendations are. And before the end of this week, we'll certainly indicate where we stand on those recommendations from the U.S.
A joint communique is expected to be released later this week to inform the public on the outcome of the meeting. The vulnerabilities in healthcare continue to be tested by the still very present effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Notwithstanding these challenges, the healthcare providers remained dedicated to caring for COVID patients and putting measures in place to safeguard citizens. Minister for Health, Wellness and Social Services, Honorable Kasani Laville, reiterates the dedication of his team. He describes their efforts as tireless and of good quality.
The pandemic has exposed tremendous vulnerabilities in our health systems, and not only here, but in the region and internationally around the world. And this has certainly highlighted the urgency for improved systems and processes to contain, mitigate, manage the various health risks of this nature. We see the recent events as a call to action to pursue more accurate assessments of our country's risk and response capacity and the development of national action plans for health security.
The OECS regional project, established in August 2019, believes a regional approach is needed because limited fiscal capacity and vulnerability to economic and climate-related shocks has yielded limited success in adequately preparing for public health emergencies. Government has pledged its full support for the development of this project and welcomes the focus on enhancing regional health security to prepare for extreme weather events and disease outbreaks like the COVID-19 pandemic.
The establishment of a contingency emergency response funding mechanism must also be considered in tandem with our efforts to plan for emergency impacts. And I say this not merely as someone who understands some of our challenges, but I say this also to pledge my commitment to action these ideas in my tenure as Minister for Health. Right now, we are in the process of tweaking and finalizing our health strategy. And we're doing this with the support of PAHO and various other organizations who have put themselves forward to assist us with this much-needed strategy. And I'm assured that everyone here will agree that the health strategy for Dominica cannot be completed if we do not seriously consider emergency response.
A number of regional partners continues to rally behind the Ministry of Health to improve delivery and public health emergency management.
We have had support of our regional and international partners, including PAHO, CAFA, and the World Bank, among others, to return the health and environmental services to full operation. And we are definitely grateful for that. But the experiences have increased our awareness as a system of the need to build local capacity so that we're able to provide immediate relief when the needs arise.
When a two-day training comes to an end on Tuesday, participants are expected to be more alert for health emergencies. As Dominica continues on a path to becoming the first climate-resilient nation in the world, Minister for Foreign Affairs, International Business, Trade and Energy, Honorable Dr. Vince Henderson, says a new initiative known as the Bridgetown Initiative will propel Dominica towards achieving this goal.
The Bridgetown Initiative was born out of a concept developed by the Barbados Prime Minister, in which all CARICOM participated, to help us to build for us the resilience that we need, the fiscal resilience, to fight the impact of climate change and the exogenous shocks that fall upon us by global and international action. The war in Ukraine, for example. And that initiative is seeking to sort of reshape the institutions, the financial institutions like the World Bank and the IMF, to ensure that our governments can be given the breathing space, the fiscal space, as it were, to ensure that we can provide development assistance to our people, we can embark on strong social programs while we build resilience against the impact of climate change, with those international institutions coming to better understanding of our realities. So it is an initiative that will help us to ensure that, like Dominica's goal of building climate resilience, the rest of the Caribbean can embark on a similar program, but with the assistance of those institutions by reforming them.
Minister Henderson says CARICOM played an integral role in ensuring small island developing states receive benefits after the passage of a natural disaster.
CARICOM played a very important role in the last conference, where we saw some benefits to small island developing states. With the leadership of Antigua and Barbuda, we were able to get an agreement on what is referred to as loss and damage. That is to say, what happens to us when we're hit by hurricanes. And the international community has agreed for the first time, after 27 meetings, they've agreed that now they will create a special facility that will go to our small island developing states. So we tied that to the Bridgetown Initiative to ensure that we can get money to reduce our financial burden. And I'm sure Dr. McIntyre will be happy to hear that, Minister of Finance, so that we can look at debt restructuring and we can get the kind of space that we need, because we have invested so much rebuilding after we've been impacted by a major climate event.
Dr. Henderson says Dominica will also receive technical assistance towards the geothermal development project.
We have been working with the Department of Energy of the United States and the Department of State for the last few months, well, several months, since I attended a meeting in Pittsburgh. We met and we discussed how the United States could assist us in our efforts at building energy security. And they gave the commitment that they will provide technical assistance to us for geothermal energy development by providing the consultants that are required to supervise some of the works that we will be doing on that project. And I'm pleased to announce that we have now achieved another milestone in geothermal energy development. We have moved our rig to the second drill pad last week, and we will be commencing drilling in the next 10 days.
Track and field athletes in Dominica are in training mode as the Dominica Olympic Committee prepares for a full calendar of activities this year. President of the Dominica Olympic Committee, Mr. Billy Doctrove, stated that Dominica will participate in 4 games this year.
We have lots going on. We're in preparation now for 3 major games this year. We have the Carifta Games, we have the 4 actually. We have the CSE Games in El Salvador, then we have the Commonwealth Youth Games in Trinidad, and we also have the Pan Am Games in Chile in October, November. And so we're in preparation for those games. We also have our athletes in training.
The Dominican athletes based abroad are also in training for the various games. One of these athletes, Mrs. Thea Langford, is in preparation for the Athletics World Games scheduled for later this year, as well as the 2024 Olympic Games.
We are looking forward to another good year, because last year was an exciting year for us, where we got our first silver medal at the Commonwealth Games with Tia, and Tia is looking forward to great things. We have the Athletics World Games in Budapest in I think October or September, somewhere there, and so we're looking forward to she going there and perform, and then we have the Olympic Games next year. So we hope that we can have additional qualifiers besides Tia.
Mr. Doctrove stated that one of the main challenges the DOC faces in the training of athletes is the availability of appropriate facilities, adding that he welcomes the development of the synthetic track as announced by the Prime Minister.
Our facilities here are not what we would love. We would love to see it improved. Recently, you heard the Prime Minister mention about the government's intention to go ahead with the installation of a synthetic track, and we're really looking forward to that. And we are integrally involved in that to ensure that comes to pass. So one of the major difficulties that we face is the facilities here, because we still have to prepare our track and field athletes on grass, which is not ideal. But as I have told them, that we have to do our best.
He noted that DOC is also working on their internal affairs to ensure the best representation for its athletes.
We are putting everything in place. We're still working on our governance and our administration, because that is where we had to take over from the previous administration. That is where we have lots of issues that we have to deal with, but we are happy with the way that we have dealt with matters. In November last year, we had auditors from the Olympic Solidarity coming to Dominica to do an audit of our finances. So we are waiting for the official report from them as to the findings. But we are confident that our financial accountability is spot on.
Government invests over $20 million in rehabilitation of Layu Road. Daryltit reports.
The link is often made between the importance of sound infrastructural development and good governance to economic and social growth. In order to further develop Dominica, there must be a proper road network capable of moving Dominicans, visitors, and the goods they use safely from one point to another, day or night. The building or reinforcement of roads leads to further social and economic progress, improve access to communities, increase mobility, greater comfort, and enhance safety for Dominicans. The Dominica Labour Party administration is committed to improving the country's road network, greatly impacted by the passage of Hurricane Maria. The government of Dominica, through the Ministry of Public Works, Public Utilities, and the Digital Economy, has implemented the Layu Flood Event Reconstruction and Rehabilitation Project. Phase 1 of this project, which is at a cost of over $23 million, sees the rehabilitation and reconstruction of approximately 4 kilometers of roadway from the Hillsborough Bridge eastwards to the York Valley Bridge. The project, undertaken by Emil Gadakan A.F., saw the excavation and realignment of the existing road away from the riverbank, river diversion measures to mitigate against the damaging effects of the river, and road drainage infrastructure to include box culverts and slipper drains. Road surfacing works are nearing completion.
Well, I am extremely excited. I'm extremely pleased with the quality of work that is being done here in the community of Layu. And just to say that I am very happy for the beneficiaries of this project, because the entire constituency stand to benefit in terms of agriculture and tourism. We will definitely be seeing improved agricultural livelihoods. And as a parliamentary representative, I am just filled with joy and excitement, and I continue to reiterate my gratitude and appreciation to the government of Dominica and each and every other stakeholder who has played a profound role in the completion of this project.
The project fits in line with Dominica's quest to become a climate-resilient nation.
I believe it is the step in the right direction. Just to give you a brief history, this project was actually conceptualized after the collapse of the Matia Dam. It has caused tremendous damages to this road. So I believe that government is right on track in actually creating a climate-resilient structure here in the Layu community.
Road markings and signage works are still to come to complete the project.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. The selection of Alec Athanas to the West Indies senior cricket team is a proud moment for all Dominicans. Kuvia John has more in this special report.
24-year-old Alec Athanas of Grand Bay has joined the League of Dominica's cricketing heroes after receiving his maiden call-up to the West Indies senior men's cricket team. This follows his consistent run of good form with the bat in the past few months, where he excelled in both regional and local tournaments. Athanas's name first popped up in major headlines when he represented the West Indies Rising Stars in the 2018 ICC Under-19 World Cup. There, he emerged as the leading run scorer with 418 runs, with 2 centuries and 2 50s. Since then, he has only gotten better. His progress was shown when he represented the Windward Island Volcanoes in the 2022-2023 CG Insurance Super 50 Cup. There, he played 6 matches, amassing 292 runs, scoring 2 centuries with a high score of 141 runs. He then participated in the second edition of the Dream 11 T10 League in Dominica, where he led the Champion Reef Divers to the championship. He copped the awards for Most Valuable Player and Leading Run Scorer, having scored over 400 runs during the league. His amazing batting form continued, which resulted in him being named as captain of the Windward Island Volcanoes at the start of the West Indies 4-Day Championship. In his first match as captain, Athanas scored 41 and 51 respectively against the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. He subsequently scored his maiden first-class century with a score of 141 against Guyana in his second match. All of this led to his selection to the West Indies Test team, which was announced on Tuesday, February 14, 2023. Athanas says he is grateful for the opportunity to represent Dominica and the West Indies on the international stage.
I feel really good, to be honest. Playing Test cricket is one of, if not the main goal for every young cricketer coming up in the Caribbean. So I'm grateful for the opportunity, and it's good to see that the hard work that I've been putting in over the past couple of years is paying off. Yeah, and I would just like to thank everybody that has helped me along the way. whether they know it or not, I would just like to say a big thank you to everyone that has helped me to be where I am today.
After the announcement from Cricket West Indies, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit congratulated Athanas in a Facebook post. The post read in part, "This is a momentous achievement for young Athanas, the Windward Island Volcanoes captain who hails from the community of Grand Bay. The government and people of Dominica are immensely proud and stand in full support of Athanas as he joins the original side for the Tour of South Africa, which balls off on February 28th. The Prime Minister continued that Athanas' selection is yet another gratifying moment for local cricket fans who have tracked his rise over the years. We celebrate with him and the very best wishes for his continued success." Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for the Grand Bay constituency, Honorable Dr. Vince Henderson, also expressed his congratulations to the 24-year-old. He says that this achievement is a source of pride to all Dominicans.
On behalf of the Grand Bay constituency, and in particular the village of Grand Bay, and on my own behalf, I wish to extend many congratulations to Alec Athanas on his selection in the West Indies team. His achievement is a source of pride and inspiration to all of us in the Grand Bay constituency and also throughout Dominica. We wish him well, especially as he moves on to his first tour of South Africa, and we look forward to many great things from him, and he will forever have our appreciation and our continued support. All the best, Alec. We wish you well.
Minister of Responsibility for Youth and Sports, Honorable Oscar George, says his selection is a proud moment for all Dominicans who have seen Alec rise through the various levels in his cricketing career.
It's a very proud moment for all of us in Dominica, in the sport and fraternity, and by extension the Windward Islands. As we know, Alec is a product of Grand Bay, South City, and I can only imagine how proud they will be in Grand Bay on this call-up for Alec. Alec, went through the sports division on the 13, on the 19 programs. So he's a product of the sports division, and we're happy for that. I can recall just the other day we had this launching of the Under-20 Cricket League, and I was speaking to the young cricketers and telling them that, and a few years ago, Alec was standing right where they are. So that's a good moment for them. They have somebody they can look up to and inspire to become.
Minister George, who is a former national cricketer and who has played alongside Alec, described Athanas as a hard worker. He believes that his work ethic will carry him a long way in his international career.
Alec has a really good work ethic. I know that he's been doing a lot of work in Portsmouth in the academy with the coach Sam. I want to commend Sam in particular for his efforts in nurturing Alec's talent. But the opportunity to play for the West Indies is something that we all as a nation should be proud of. We expect Alec to do well. We had Alec dominating the Super 50 competition last year, getting 2 centuries thereabout, and also dominating the local Dream 11 cricket we had a few months ago, and again being appointed captain recently, and of course excelling in that position, scoring a century in the first game. So all these things are clear indications that Alec will do well in terms of representing Dominica, representing the West Indies cricket.
Sports coordinator Mr. Trevor Schillingford says this achievement is the result of the consistency that Athanas has shown over the years.
To see the elevation of Alec Athanas at international level is a very proud moment, and especially for the sports division, since Alec is really a product of our age group competitions from the under-13 through the under-15s, under-19s, and onto the national senior team. And he has been very consistent over the years. He has demonstrated a high level of workmanship. He has been one of the young cricketers who has been very committed to the game and improving on all areas of the game. And we are very happy for his elevation into the senior West Indies cricket team. And we really hope that he will be having a very long career at the international level.
Mr. Schillingford added that this selection will serve as an inspiration to many of the young cricketers in Dominica.
His elevation to the West Indies senior team can really act as inspiration to our very young cricketers so that they can realize that there's an opportunity to make it to the very highest level. If we can have one of our own can get to that level, then they too can aspire to get in to that level on the international scene. And it is always a source of national pride when you can witness one of your very own on the international scene. And all of Dominica should rally with Alec to give him the support that is needed and to ensure that his stay at the international level will be a very long one, and the runs can begin to flow, and that he can become one of our real international stars, not only representing Dominica, but representing the West Indies.
Meanwhile, former ICC elite umpire Mr. Billy Doctrove says this is wonderful news for Dominica.
It's wonderful news for Dominica, and I'm sure it's wonderful news for Alec himself and his family and close friends. You know, it's a memorable occasion, and I really want to congratulate him on his selection to the West Indies senior team. It is never easy to get that opportunity, and when the opportunity comes, you have to embrace it. So I hope Alec is in the right frame of mind to actually attack his selection to the West Indies team and make the best of it. He has worked very hard over the years to be given an opportunity, because I know that he has worked hard with his coaches, especially Rafa in Grand Bay and Sam in the academy, and I'm just happy for him.
Mr. Doctrove, who was an international umpire for 14 years, has a better understanding than most of what it takes to succeed and have longevity in the international arena. He encouraged Alec to work on his mental fitness along with his physical body if he is to succeed in his Test career.
Test cricket is tough. It's tough on the outside there, and that's why I said about the mental preparation, because the guys on the outside there, his opponents, recognize and they know that he's a new selectee to the West Indies team, so they're going to put that mental pressure on him. So he has to keep strong. He has to develop his mental toughness, and they will attempt all manner of ways if he plays to try and sidestep all the major issues. So he needs to focus, because Test cricket is a real tough game to play at that level for 5 days, and you cannot stay focused and concentrate for the first 2 days or 3 days. You have to do it consistently for over 5 days.
Former Cricket West Indies Vice President Mr. Emmanuel Nanton also congratulated Alec on his selection. He says this achievement, as well as the recent selection of 2 female cricketers for the West Indies Rising Stars under-19 women's team, augurs well for cricket in Dominica.
It means a lot. We have invested in the academy in Dominica for a number of years now. Alec is one of the first students who went in there. The coach at the academy, Sam Kernan, is the one who has worked very hard with Alec, and he worked very hard with the two young ladies who just came out from the West Indies tour. He continued to work hard with them. Last week, for the last few weeks since they came back, they have been continuing to work hard, so we're looking to get them to progress as well. Just this week, he was able to recruit about 10 other young ladies training cricket, and we have about a team of about 20 young men who we are training now. There seems to be a rebirth with the success of our young people. The young women at the under-19, Alec among those. Kavem Hodge is another leading star of ours who we have invested in.
The 15-man squad departed for South Africa on February 17, 2023, with the first Test match scheduled for February 28, 2023. Kuvia John for the Government Information Service.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I am Octavia Prosper. Thanks for watching and stay safe.